Shalom Mashapaka. Peace family, how we doing? Hopefully everyone is doing wonderful today. Okay, family, we hear about our captivity a lot, and you know, but I want to look at our captivity from a different perspective today, and hopefully this will make sense at the end of this discussion. But before I get into this discussion, let me start off by giving all glory and honor to the Creator of the universe, Yahweh, and to Son Yahshua. I'd like to also send out my humble gratitude to our foreparents, our forefather Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, and our foremother Sarah. And I'd like to also send out a greeting to the brothers and sisters that are pushing this truth, trying to wake up their very elect. And also like to send out a special greeting to the Gentiles that are listening, learning, and also being edified, and also helping push this truth. To you guys, I say shalom. Okay, family. Like I was saying about our captivity, family. We in Israel, we hear about our captivity. We hear about this over and over and over, and a lot of times, we hear about it so much, and we're so mad, we're so angry, coming into the truth of who we are as a people. But again, let me, I'm gonna come from a different angle today. Our captivity. Is it more to our captivity than just punishment, right? I mean, it should be more to our captivity than just punishment. We should be able to look into the records and really see this. Think about our parents. Think about our earthly parents. When we broke a household rule, right? We had a punishment. We had whether we got a whooping or we was on punishment for a week or a month or what have you. We had to answer for whatever rule we broke. There was a consequence for our actions. How much more the Most High? How much more the Most High? Right? But in this punishment about our earthly parents, right? There's consequence. The consequences of our actions. We were supposed to be learning something. Supposed to be making us more responsible. How can we not see that when we deal with the scriptures? Just think about that for a minute. How can we not see that in the scriptures? Tell you what, let's go to Romans. Let's go to Romans chapter 15. Okay, Romans chapter 15. We'll start off at verse 4. For whatsoever things were written aforetime were written for our learning, that we through patience and comfort of the scriptures might have hope. So the things that were written in the past were written for our learning, that through patience and comfort of the scriptures might have hope. So the scriptures should give us, we should learn from the scriptures, but at the same time we should begin to have, it should comfort us that we may have hope, because we can see the cycle. We can see the cycle, the same things that happened to our ancestors a few generations ago. We can see this happening to our ancestors way back in the ancient times, right? We should be able to see that. So we should be learning. We should be learning for this. We should be learning from these experiences. Now, let me say this right fast. The adversary always say, forget about the past. Why you reflecting on what happened in slavery? Slavery was, it was so many years ago, which we know when we really look at where we at right now, we're still in our captivity. It might not be as physical, it's more of a mental slavery right now, but we still can see the spirits of our oppression. We can see the adversaries wickedness and his craftiness in the way how he deal with us, right? But anyway, they like to say, well, forget about the past. Forget about the past. I'm gonna show you the spirit again. Hopefully I can connect the dots and make this make sense. Let's go to Deuteronomy. Let's go to Deuteronomy chapter 32. Let's start off at verse 7. Remember the days of old. Consider the years of many generations. Ask thy father, and he will show thee, thy elders, and they will tell thee. What you think about that for a minute? If we look at the elders in our records in the Bible, because remember that the Bible is not a religious text, it's a history. It's based on history, right? It's about the fall of a people, but also the rise of a people, right? But when people say forget about the past, the Bible is telling us to remember the you know what I'm saying, to remember. Consider the days of old. Ask thy father. Ask the elders, right? But when we think about our people in the religious setting, the priests that call themselves the ministers of the Most High, right, in these wicked churches, a lot of them will say, well, that's the Old Testament. So they try to disconnect us from the Old Testament, right? They try to disconnect us from the things that happened in the Old Testament, which when we look at our condition today is a mirror image of what happened to our ancestors. It's a testament of that. The scripture bear witness with our spirit that we are the children of the Most High. The word of the Most High, right? The word of the Most High bear witness with our spirit that we are the children. Okay. But here it is again. And when we talk to our family members, our friends, associates, and people like that don't believe, they say, well, that's in the Old Testament. I don't care if I don't believe that we Israel. Or I don't, Jesus died for us, so we don't have to worry about all that old stuff. But we just read in the so-called New Testament that it says that the things that were written for foretime were written for our learning, that we may, that learning, we were written for our learning, that we, through patience, might have hope. But they'll tell us again, forget about the past. The same spirit. That's the Old Testament. Forget about the Old Testament. It's the same spirit. But hold on. But let me look at something else. Let's look at something else. Let's go to Romans chapter 3. Romans chapter 3, verse 3. For what if some do not believe? Shall their unbelief make the faith of Elohim without effect? Elohim forbid. Ye, let Elohim be true, but every man a liar, as it is written. See, who care what these people believe? Who care what they believe? The word of the Most High in the Old Testament is telling us, the Old Covenant is telling us, consider the days of old. You know what I'm saying? Consider the days of old. Why are you learning? Why you being chastised? Are you learning why you being punished? The only way you can learn is if you go back to the Old Testament. Wow. Tell you what. Let's deal with this here. Let's go to Ezekiel. Ezekiel chapter 20. 22, verse 26. Chapter 22, verse 26. Right? Her priests have violated my law and have profaned my holy things. They have put no difference between the holy and profane. Neither have they showed difference between the unclean and the clean, and have hid their eyes from me, from my Sabbath, and I am profane among them. So again, I want you to think about that, because a lot of us, we got these doctrines not only from our so-called pastors in these churches, but we got it from our mothers, our fathers, our grandparents. But if we go back and consider the things of old, back in the Old Testament, back, in the ancient days, we'll see our condition. Matter of fact, if you read chapter 22, read all of chapter 22 on your own, and you're going to see the same things that were going on then are going on now, how we treat each other. And we wonder why we are in the position that we are in. We're not learning anything. We oppressed one another. We killed one another. But we are mad with the adversary when he kills us. We're mad with the adversary when he oppresses us. Wow. Consider the days of old. The things that was written, aforetime were written for our learning. Wow. But they keep telling us to forget. But if you don't remember, how can you learn? But if you just gonna harp on the things that you remember, you're not learning, what good is that? Again, what are you learning? Wow. Let's go back to Deuteronomy. Deuteronomy chapter 11. Therefore, shall you lay upon these my words in your heart and in your soul, and bind them for a sign upon your hand, that they may be as frontlets between your eyes. And ye shall teach them your children, speaking of them when thou sittest in thy house, and when thou walkest in the way, when thou layest down, and when thou risest up. Remember, our parents didn't teach most of us this. Because our grandparents didn't teach most of them this. Because their parents didn't teach most of them this. But the things that were written for aforetime were written for our learning. What ancestors are you looking at? Are you looking at your ancestors that didn't teach you nothing? Or are you going to look at the ancestors that went through this stuff, and then we can make the connection and see the same thing that was happening then, and now we can teach our children? Wow. Wow. Again, what are you learning? See, your judgment is just not a punishment. Your judgment, your punishment is supposed to be teaching you something. You're supposed to be learning something. The question is, are you learning? And what are you learning? With that being said, peace, love, shalom.